Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. So, I've been seeing a lot of stuff in my social media about a guy named Harry Sisson. If you don't recognize that name or the face that was in the thumbnail, first of all, I should say congratulations on your gainful employment. As a little refresher, this guy was one of the white dudes for Harris. In the 2024 election campaign, he was paid by the DNC to be a young, fresh face for the Democrats because they thought that would help them. And he's not in my feed for anything political right now. Instead, he's caught up because he's horny and on the internet and 20 years old. There's some hard-hitting journalistic pieces out right now claiming that he's been messaging 10, 12, several women on Snapchat, being forward with them and getting sexual pictures sent back and forth. And I've seen several people bring up this whole idea of the male feminist, someone who uses their virtue signaling to convince women they're a safe person and then takes advantage of them sexually. And you're always going to have people out there who lie about their ethics, their morals, to try and convince you they're a good person for any number of reasons. Maybe it could be because they want to take your money. Maybe because they want your time. Sometimes it's because they want you sexually. In this instance with this young brother Harry, he was messaging women on Snapchat. Some people would say this was just him playing the field, that he wasn't committed to any of these women. He didn't say they were dating. Some people will point out he did lie to several of them, saying he didn't have a quote-unquote roster of women that he was talking to. But all the same, he was a 20-year-old messaging women on the internet, getting sexual photos from them. The way people were talking about this guy, you would have thought that he was drugging women and dragging them into hotel rooms to rape them or something like that. When in reality, it's more like that cutscene in Stardew Valley. You know, if your farmer tries to get with every single bachelor or bachelorette, and you have that pool scene in the back of the bar, Harry just didn't have his lucky rabbit's foot in his pocket, so now we all have to see his dirty laundry. And frankly, it is kind of weird if you think about it like that, because this sort of thing is commonplace, to the point where it's part of a E-rated farming simulation game, where a man or a woman, or anybody in between, is openly flirting with so many different people in the town that they start putting connections together and then they confront them all at once. This kind of thing should not have been made into a news article, but it is because Harry was paid by the DNC in the 2024 election cycle. He's a political figurehead now, even though he's a 20-year-old, not fully frontal lobe developed, horny child. All of this aside, I know it seems like I'm really going to bat for this guy, but we shouldn't be just waving off bad behavior like this. This is wrong. Womanizing is bad. You should be honest and upfront with the people who you're talking to, not just in a sexual or romantic manner either, in all of your relationships in life. Just try and be as honest as you can. It just makes things way easier on you. But what I am suggesting is that you give some people some grace. This is a young person who is thinking with the wrong head. And I just don't think that this is something that should have had journalistic hit pieces written about. I do think the reason this gained so much traction is because conservative influencer types, basically Harry's peer group on the other side of the aisle, feels a bit of jealousy or resentment for the fact that he was being what they would call cheesy, that his physique, that his appearance isn't what they would consider alpha male-ish, but he's still pulling more women than them. And they're upset about that. They don't understand why that is, and it's because he treats women like people. Despite the proclivities, despite the not being honest or anything like that, it's still a matter of not treating women like property and just letting them be. A lot of these men have been led astray by the podcasters in their life who have told them the ways that they need to woo and confront women, and it's just not working for them, and now they're mad that someone who they consider effeminate and effete is doing what they cannot. The main lesson that I would hope Harry and all the young men who are angry at him is y'all need to just be honest. Y'all need to be upfront with the people you're talking with and just try and make better decisions moving forward about your romantic and sexual partners. For the lefties and liberals who are upset with Harry right now because he's a misogynist and a skirt chaser and a womanizer, I just gotta say, maybe we should give some grace to the young people in our movement, and also maybe come to understand that you're going to have imperfect people in your political movements. That's not to say everything should just be water under the bridge. You should let everything live and let live, but perhaps we should pick better fights. Perhaps you should pick more drastic people to excise first, rather than a 20-year-old who was a little too horny and messaging too many women Maybe we look at the people in our movement who are actual predators, who are really trying to damage us from the inside out, and deal with that accordingly. But as far as young people who are a little too horny, I just let them hit 25 so their frontal lobe fully develops, and then we can talk about the moral implications of what these people are doing. But I guess until another one of these young influencer types gets caught up with charges of being sexually promiscuous, y'all try to have a good day.